Animal stories. The Hare and the Tortoise. The hare was always boasting about how fast he could run. "I'm the fastest in the land," he would say. One day the hare said, "Which of you will run a race against me?" Everyone was tired of the hare's boasting, but no one wanted to risk losing. Ha ha! No one, except for the tortoise. The hare laughed out loud, and all the other animals gasped. But the tortoise just smiled. Preparations began. The fox drew up a map of the route. The race was to take place the following week. For the next 7 days the hare showed off, speeding around the meadow, dashing up hills and knocking animals over. He upset just about everyone. The tortoise watched from afar as he chewed leisurely on grass and leaves. Whoosh! The evening before the race, the tortoise decided to have an early night. He settled down in his cozy bed just as the sun was setting. "Early to bed and early to rise," said the tortoise to himself. But the hare stayed up late partying with his neighbors, the badgers. Their noisy antics kept everyone awake. The next day dawned bright and sunny. The tortoise awoke refreshed and full of energy. He ate a hearty breakfast, then got ready for the race. The hare wasn't feeling quite so refreshed. His late night meant he had hardly slept at all. He felt exhausted. He poured himself a large glass of carrot juice and yawned loudly. Out in the meadow, the animals were gathering to watch the start of the race. Stalls were selling cakes and sandwiches. Brightly colored balloons and bunting had been tied to trees. A party atmosphere was building. Feeling more like his usual self, the hare took his place at the start line. "Get ready to lose," he smirked to the tortoise. The tortoise just smiled. Then the fox began the countdown to the race. "On your marks. Get set." The whistle blew, and they were off. The hare dashed away at full speed, around the meadow then up the hill. He stopped to look back and saw the tortoise plodding along far behind. Grinning happily, the hare danced a little jig on the hilltop. Yummy! Then the hare started to feel hungry. He grabbed 2 lettuces from a field and sat down to eat. The sun was warm, so the hare settled down for a short nap. After all, he'd had a late night, and the tortoise was far behind. All the while, the tortoise kept going. He plodded up and over the hill. He saw the hare snoozing under a tree, and marched bravely past. The hare didn't stir a whisker. Much later, feeling stiff and cold, the hare woke up with a start. He looked up at the sun and saw how low it was in the sky. It must be almost evening. He feared the worst. The hare flew around the rest of the route at top speed. He ran like he'd never run before. In the distance he heard shouting and clapping. The tortoise was nearly at the finish line. Pant, wheeze. The tortoise was very tired. But with all the animals cheering and clapping, he staggered on, as far as his legs would go. He crossed the line to huge applause and the crowd shouting his name. The hare had lost his own challenge. From now on perhaps he wouldn't be so boastful. Slow and steady wins the race.
For more videos, please subscribe our channel.